If you can remember the video here where I did the brake pads, probably should have done the brake discs at the same time, however I didn't need to, and you know, wanted to get the job done quickly, so I didn't. However, now they've got to the point where they're warped, so they probably need replacing. First I'm going to use some of this redneck aftershave to loosen up, or attempt to loosen, the bolts that hold the rotors on. Just going to let it soak for a bit, nothing interesting, but that is the first step. Yeah! First things first, when changing your brake caliper, no, brake discs, those things, the round bits, rotors. After spraying it, leaving it for some time just to make sure that it's not seized. Before you put it up on its stand to get the wheel off, good idea is to undo these bolts, yeah, while it's on the ground, so you're not like, so you've got something to get hold of, you know what I'm saying? Right. And look at that, as if by magic. You're going to have to roll the bike backwards and forwards somewhat to be able to get to all of these bolts. You just want to loosen them, don't undo them. That'll make your life more difficult. He says. Right. So backwards and forwards. Make sure there's enough room in your kitchen. Probably a little bit out of shot now. Now that they're all cracked off, I'm going to undo these ones that hold the spindle in, and undo that one, because that's quite a big chunky bell boy, and then we're going to put it on the stand, alright? Now on this particular motorcycle, you have to have a special tool to get to that, or a really big Allen key. Here's one I made earlier. It's kind of hexagonal and tapered, so I didn't know what size it was, so I just made it tapered so it'd fit any size. I think it's clever. It might not be.
How much are special tools?
I don't know, I've never looked. Well, it's actually just a really large Allen key.
Ah.
But I never investigated. Oh, these need to be looser.
Haha!
Huh? What? You want to do it? Go on then.
Yeah.
And now my beautiful assistant will aid me. Aids. Hopefully not. On this particular bike, you've got a collar that screws onto the end of the spindle, and both ends of the spindle are held in by these bolts, clamped with these bolts, so that can't come undone. So okay, emo. So it might be worth just undoing the one side for now, so that the other side is held for when you undo the big thing.
Okay.
Looks like I did a good job of doing this one up last time.
No, we'll get it most of the way out, it'll be loose, so it doesn't fall off the stand when I put all this pressure onto it, and you're on. You get me, bro.
Right. Check the back. That is a different size Allen key. I believe it's the one that I stole from work, yeah. So the reason I didn't have an Allen key for that is because I didn't have an Allen key for that. But I did have one of these which does the other side.
Why are they two different sizes?
I don't fucking know. Right, so that is as loose as we're going to get before we take the wheel off. The next step is to put it on the stand and then drop the wheel out. Stay tuned. Do not adjust your television set. To me.
See ya.
Back once again like a renegade master. Look up my finger, have you got a plaster? If it falls on my head, I blame you entirely.
What?
What? Cool. Now that we're up and seated so grandly. Exactly, Summer. Exactly what I was thinking. So, pull the spindle out. Ta-da! That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Whew, still going rather nicely currently. And now these should hopefully pop off. Ah, fuck. Always put the bits that came off on the thing they came off, the way they came off, and then you know which way they go on, back on, and you never lose them, or hopefully won't lose them. You see? Top tips. Of course that won't come off. Gotta take the fucking calipers off. Dickhead. Don't be like me. Take your calipers off first, there ain't enough room. There ain't enough room to get them wheels off. Where did that go?
Over here.
Oh, now the wheel won't come off because the bloody fucking mud guard is in the way. Complicated things, motorcycles.
And another one, just about where the calipers attach.
Off it goes. Bloody stands in the way. Ta-da! I really hate this bit. Remember when I had to do the fucking fork tubes?
Yeah.
And it was just sat there without anything holding it up apart from this fucking shitty stand and some blocks of wood.
And tires.
And tires, yeah. But it was just sort of nerve wracking having it up there like
Yeah.
wibbly wobbly.
With the Ricky going, ah!
Ugh. Man,
That's very
it's a nuisance. Ah! Now you successfully removed your wheel.
And stood on the brakes.
Huh?
And stood on the brakes.
And yeah, still on the brake discs. Just gotta take these bolts out.
Hopefully you remember to crack them all off and not left one uncracked. It's always best to check that. If you leave one uncracked, you're going to have a hard time stopping the wheel from moving while you're trying to undo it. What are you laughing at? It would be funny. It would be funny, it would also be terribly unfortunate. But I think I might actually got it right. Yeah.
Bonk. And there we have one ever so slightly warped brake disc. So I'm going to get myself a rag. Some Blitz kitchen roll. And give it a clean down. Here you go. Do you think you could pass me that WD-40?
Would you care to go back to your original position? Give it a clean roll. Shouldn't be dirty because it had something pressed against it the whole time, but always just good to be prepared. Make sure your shaft seal is shite free. Shite. Okay. Nice and easy bit.
Get your lovely shiny new brake disc you got from Greece, Athens. Stopping power. It's almost as good as going power. Right. Pretty. Yes, it is pretty, isn't it? Why isn't that sitting down there right? Probably an accumulation of shite. Make sure it's sat down right. There we go. So I'm using a torque wrench. Well, you don't really need to, but I have it at my disposal and shit. If I remember rightly, it needs to be around 35 foot-pound. Around 35 foot-pound. There we go. So now it's sat down nice. Nice. Give it a little blob of this shit. And put him in. Now don't do them all up tight as you put them in. Put them in one by one and then we tighten them once they're all in. So you want to get them just nipped like that. And you also want to put them in a star format. If you're new to bolts, then it's usually what we do. If you've got lots of things around a radius, or even lots of things in a pattern, lots of bolts in a pattern, you want to try and do them up the furthermost away next. So I've done this one, then that one, then I'll do this one, then that one, and that one. That makes sense? It is just used to make sure that things aren't twisted while you do it up.
These are probably one of the last bolts you want to come undone accidentally on your motorbike. So, hence the thread locker. Stud lock, whatever you want to fucking call it. Just do. Better safe than sorry, yeah. As it was, it actually came undone relatively easily. I don't think I needed the WD-40. So that just like a slight adhesive? Yeah, it only works if it's in a thin film, so that's like fitting the threads. It doesn't actually dry if it's just left wet. But if you spread it out thinly into some small gaps, then... Yeah.
Complain.
What's the brand?
This is Bond Lock. Sometimes there's loads of different brands of it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You probably get some red automotive stuff. This is just blue stuff that we had at work.
And now, you want to talk it up? But mostly I'm just tightening these. I'm not actually talking them because it's kind of impossible to do it without really help. Hence the way we undid them in the first place. Remember that? Good. Cool. And then the other side.
And here we see the tiny girlfriend replacing the brake discs. I've been systematically teaching her how to do the maintenance to a motorcycle so that she is aware. She likes to be hands-on with things and she likes to join in with me. So she's having an apprenticeship. Contrary to my previous statement, it doesn't require 35 foot-pounds of torque. These bolts actually require, as per the manual, 20 foot-pounds of torque, not 35. 20 foot-pounds of torque, not 35. Excellent.
Wunderbar!
Right, so in the reverse order to how we took it off, we're going to put it on right, correctly, instead of incorrectly. First things first, going to put the spindle through, then we're going to attach the brake calipers, and then we're going to put the hat thing on it. Because that would make a lot more sense if we'd done it that way around to begin with.
Redneck aftershave. Huh? You just call me a redneck aftershave? How does that even make sense? It doesn't. Good, good. Just making sure. I wasn't the only one who had no idea what I sprayed it on the plastic. Well, I tried. See, keep hold it tight for me. Of course you fell out. Why wouldn't you fall out? I hate these things. Little bushes. No, I'd much rather help the bike at the time. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Right, Nelly, sorry, sorry. Shall we get a slightly medicinal tap? Because I like to live dangerously. Put that fucking great down, okay? Put that fucking great down. Over here. Ah, okay. See what I can't live. Somebody who loves you and cares for you, make sure all your needs are met. Lots and lots of food. And attention. Yeah. You like colours? Lots. Good. And lots of squish cat things. Jumbo Lyra. Such lady. Hmm? Do you want to say something? No, you're relevant. I know you like that. You're also free. Right, now that's done, got to put the canvas back on. Alright, alright. Beautiful assistant, which I would. We can actually take it off the stand now, because the wheel's back in. Should we do that? I think it's a good idea. Yeah, so make sure that the tyre's facing the right way. Yeah, it is.
Good. Just shouting at the fucking camera.
Dead!
There we go. The canvas is very, very tough. Do it now. Stick with the bike. Stick with the 50 panels. No! No! Shut up! You should be ramming yourself into the dishwasher. Now, shut up!
As you can see, the bike is gone, it's finished. Basically the battery died, but there wasn't anything left interesting to watch. We just put the hat back on, did all the bolts up a bit more, and I took it for a test ride. The brakes work nice, they're chattering a bit, but that's just because I didn't change them at the same time as I did the pads. My bad, but whatever. It stops nice. Oh, all is good. Stay tuned for more. Oh, hello, didn't see you there. Well, anyway, fuck off.